So we're
You can
in
buy all kinds of refreshments.
Key West, and we're
Now,
on the conch train. We're going to get a tour of the entire island, hour and a half.
Get back
And
on
so
board, grab
we're
your
on
original
board, and you
seats,
can
and
hear
we
the guy
continue on with
talking
the
now.
tour. Now, 10 minutes after break, we get to the second stop on the tour. That's a Truebow Station stop on the Truebow payments. And ahead here on the right, we have the presidential gates, and here's a salute to the presidents. Yeah, those presidential gates were. We have a magnificent banyan tree. Now, this tree's more than 100 years old. One of the largest trees on the island. Big old beautiful banyan. Okay, on the right, this gray house here, the lavender shutters, the Francisco Marrero home. Let me tell you a little bit about him. He bribed his way out of a coup. Yeah, they'll come later on in the tour. Now, let me show you the first style. It's very common in Old Town. On the right, this gray house with the lavender shutters, that's a very good example of a classic revival from the New England states up north. Yeah, it's always 2 floors with the porches on both levels in the front of the house. And about half the homes in the Old Town area, that style of art. The porches that wrap around the house to keep it cool. Yeah, that's a distinctive feature of the Bahama style of architecture from the Bahamas on the right industry. These homes on the right, the underside of the porches, they're all painted blue. Yeah, they're painted blue like that for a number of reasons. Wasps, they won't nest there if they're painted blue like that. And a third and final reason, there are many people in the Caribbean who believe that if you paint your homes blue like that, well, you'll be protected from evil. Notice the meadows. And this is something of a quiet zone here. I'm going to lower the volume just a touch, okay? All right, the homes you see here are typical of Old Town. What they have in common is the fact they're all more than 100 years old. They're made of wood. And years ago, they all had tin roofs for 2 main reasons: to collect rainwater and to use that as drinking water, and to prevent the spread of fires. Now, the worst fire in the history of Key West. That was a great quiet zone. I'll be right back with you. And across the street on the far right corner, we have an elaborate Victorian mansion built in 1889 by the son of Eduardo H. Gatto.
This is the southernmost point in the United States we're at now.
And I head down the street here on the left behind the tan wall. We have the current southernmost house in the continental United States. This home built in 1940 by the author Thelma Strable. This is the southernmost house on the left here by a full 19 inches. All right, there's only one road from Miami down to Key West. That's US 1, and that's known as the Overseas Highway. Wonder of the world. First train arrived in Key West January 22nd, 1912. And on the left here, this large building here is Henry Flagler's creation for Key West. I'm a freshwater conch. Been here in Key West more than 7 years. I've been here St. Marty, who's so important in Cuban history. Spiral steps at the top up there for a beautiful panoramic view of Old Town. And ahead of us on the right behind this bridge, and many cats, some descendants of Hemingway's own six-toed cat. And we lived here on the right for 10 years. And did some of his most productive writing there, and after his traffic award given to this home for a beautiful restoration. Every year, old celebrities in town these days. Maybe she's a local. I think she's a local. On the right corner, this white church here is the United Methodist Church of Key West. Built in 1877, that makes this the oldest church structure on the island, known as the Old Stone Church. This is considered to be one of the best preserved homes on the island. Many articles have been written about this house, just considered to be an absolutely beautifully preserved home, the inside and on the outside. It's an interesting history. It was originally built in the Bahamas, where the house is down. And there are about 100 of these eyebrow houses. Shipwrecks. Yeah, that's when shipwreck salvaging was the most important industry on the island. Let me show you a good example of a captain's walk. On the left of the roof of this large white house, very good example. This is the captain of the fishing industry. He'd be up there on that platform every day on this telescope. Wood trees. Yeah, they're called buttonwoods because the cedar they produce looks very much like an old-fashioned button. And ahead on the left, this large, rather tasty. We're on the northern edge of the Caribbean basin. We're in the tropics. And we do have all kinds of tropical fruit trees. The church of more than 100 years old. Big old beautiful Spanish laurel. When I head down the street here in Key West, he was really quite young with his family. You know, moved here to Key West and settled down here. And he was out evening hours, and there are thousands of people strolling about, music coming out of the bars and clubs. This is by far the most famous street in the island. And ahead here at the end of this street, on the left corner of this gray house with the white trim, is the Green Flagger. That was a major event in the history of Key West. Coming on the railroad, they celebrated for 3 full days. It's the oldest house built on the island back in 1829. Yeah, that house was actually built here in Key West. And ahead we're going to be turning left on Truman Avenue, get out of our 33rd President of the United States, Harry S. Truman. And before this was Truman Avenue, was known as Division Street because it divided. All right,